we've had a busy weekend, so things continue to move forward here with HQ Express and that new launch for that token distribution, which is going to be happening soon. We'll be announcing those dates coming up, and we've got a lot. We've got a lot going on the NFT side from development. We've got some new movie projects coming out that we'll announce. What do you think, Bo? Soon, tomorrow, the next day, something like that?
I mean, I would say by Wednesday's AMA we should have a pretty slam bang announcement.
Yeah, cool. And in the meantime, we're continuing to upgrade the exchange to prepare for that. So, we've got, of course, edits and things like that, but we're also adding functionality. So there will be things like lazy minting and, some connectivity with OpenSea and some other things we'll be able to do directly from our own exchange. So we're working on that.
Those for everybody who's maybe not an NFT artist, maybe we ought to get into the lazy minting definition, just so people understand that what that means is you just don't pay the fees until
someone buys it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So what a lot of the feedback was, hey, I really want to put up my art. I want to put up, I have a bunch of different ideas and we have a lot of creativity going on, but like people don't necessarily want to pay to mint their NFT out of the gate and then sit and wait. This process allows artists to be able to post, their design and, and their concept, and then it actually mints on purchase, which is really cool. So that's happening, and I think all those features will be done and complete by the 28th. Although I'm not really allowed to talk about dates, but
we don't talk about that.
But that's, let's just say it's contracted to be done by the 28th. How about that? So all that is really flying, and then people should have gotten. Everybody who bought the AWBTE should have the scrap token in their exchange wallet in its stead as promised. So if you don't see it, hit up .net and let them know. But as far as I know, everything went out successfully. So, and then today affiliate payouts are going out, and we're really going to be ramping up the affiliate push. So, now that we've got all of the tools in place between the NFT exchange, what we're building on the metaverse and everything else, and some of the upgrades from the exchange, we're really going to be pushing the affiliate marketing side of things. So marketing is going to ramp up for everything from AWRT to our own NFTs for the performance, the movie with Jeremy Piven, and our own metaverse build out, which is really exciting. So
I think everybody by now should have been able to see some of what we're doing, on the metaverse build out, which is, of course, is derivative of the Monkey Island. And for anybody who knows me knows that I've got a full novella coming out on the evolution of the island, the lake breaking through and actually becoming two islands. So it's, a lot of back and front story there, which will be interesting, but also how we're integrating the clubhouse and some of the things that we're doing in the metaverse. I think it's really unique, and I think it'll be fun for the club as we go forward.
Yeah, and it also be the concept here is that we want these assets, these NFT assets, to not just be usable in our own metaverse, but also to be cross-platform. So that's how things are being built, and like Bo said, I mean the clubhouse that design that I think people have gotten to see some of. We didn't. The interior's not completely done, right, Bo? Or
correct? Yeah, that's still. So we use the same video for this last week as we did the prior one, but there is a lot of development there, from the theater and some of the other things that we're working on. And then one of our members has connected us with a group that does really exciting stuff in the AR VR side that we're going to be talking to this week. That I'm really excited about how that's going to evolve and how that relationship is going to play into what we're doing here as well. So big things to come, on that side.
Sure, and the metaverse piece has a game component. It's a gamified component to it as well, and the purpose of it is, of course, deeper than just games or just being in the metaverse. I mean, it's decentralized. It's a place where we can meet no matter where we're at, as long as you have the open source hardware to do it. And it can exist, forever, with its own, kind of complex hierarchy of interaction. So we'll talk about that as it develops. And again, it's really exciting. From the business side, I think some of you saw the little quick kind of fun video we did of the Lambo out in front of the warehouse that we operate out of, and I think that's exciting. Exciting little preview
Teaser.
of what's
Yeah,
to.
I think teaser is a good word on that
Yeah.
one. Yeah, both from the car perspective and the warehouse, and we've talked about this before, but I think it's worth mentioning, especially in light of some of the things that are happening in the market, ups and downs and downs and ups. That what we're building here is not a meme coin. It's not a quick flip. It's not just something that was ever intended to be like quick in and out of. That's 250,000 square feet under roof of the first of the first property that we're looking at with HQ Express. That really, when you look at square feet is one thing. When you look at cubic feet, you're looking at a much larger number. 250,000 square feet. With probably 10-ish foot ceilings throughout 3 floors of that. Massive cubic foot footprint as to what we're intending to roll out for HQ Express, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's geolocated with overland, kind of being the underpinning of the AR mixed reality, and meets business use case, right? So we want to be able to geolocate product and also all kinds of other bells and whistles, relative to the business and the different businesses that are inside there. It's industrial flex space. So HQ Express is really, it's really the industrial flex space version of WeWork, right? Instead of just Class A office space, right?
Yeah, and again, I mean, to me, when you think about and see what's happening now in shipping, where everything now is just in time shipping or right on time shipping, as Amazon, of course, does its thing, and other people are trying to grab market share there. Everything, the whole key is to have things short time in transit, so kind of shorter hops to the ultimate destination, which means quick overnight stays for goods on their way to somebody, the ultimate purchaser. So just a massive opportunity there. Whereas WeWork has its share of the market, of course, the industrial space is huge. But just to speak to a question here, KG, on the new mods, Clop, what is it, Clopolopolis or Clopopolis or
Jimmy, how about that?
Yeah, I think I'm adding too many Lopolises there, but there's a lot of Lopuses in it. But he has been helping us out in the HQ Express rollout, getting that ready. He's also been really helping in the in things that we're doing in the metaverse. So we've got him there in the space, and so he's familiar with a lot of things. For example, with Neo Tokyo, and so he was showing us how they have their Discord laid out as more of a almost like a digital WeWork space.
Yeah, it's a collaboration business center in a real way. So, so the Discord's being reconfigured to be usable so that people can break off into groups that might be working on, for example, affiliates or bringing in new potential buyers, or some might be working on graphics and some might be working on games and and new events, and other people might be working on research. So what we're trying to do is make the Discord space, a good touch point for collaboration as a group. So it's a big step into decentralization and democratization of everything that we're doing. So the idea here is that as we grow and we get to 1,000 plus, people actively pushing for the future of, the club, they have a place to go that can help them, do the collab. And then eventually I want that to be completely decentralized and totally in the metaverse, right? Because, that's a whole other topic, but we'll get to that later. For now,
Well, I think KG. I mean, to just to speak to that point, I would love to have you and Jimmy connect, because I know that you've been a mod on some other discords and things, and I know that there are some things that you have talked about, or we have talked about, that we haven't gotten around to yet on our side. So, by all means, let's connect those dots. Maybe reach out via DM and just get that done. As far as Smooth, he said he thinks he missed something.
I mean, I think that's everybody, right? So that goes for everybody who's listening. Like, if you have something that you feel like you can contribute, take a look at the different topics. You can always get involved. There's a whole process with wrenches and different different graphics, so people know who's working on something. So if there's a task that's put out, for example, by the devs that they need help on, somebody can grab it and hit the wrench, and then we'll know you're working on it, and we can go from there. So it's just a better way for us to all kind of collaborate and make this work, from a group perspective, from a club perspective, so everybody's involved.
Well, and then again, right? I mean, as somebody puts something down, if somebody can pick it up, then we have kind of an around the clock schedule for the things that we're looking to accomplish. And let's face it, if it makes the club better, smoother, faster, then it inures to everybody's benefit. But I just want to speak to this point real quick, because I didn't want my text comment to come at Kurt. Smooth thing. I missed something. I didn't receive my scrap tokens from the Christmas special. I said just send an email to .net. But I think that's the next step. If you don't hear back, or if there's some other issue on that, please let me know, and we'll follow up with that.
Everybody should definitely have it. And I think that it would have gone to your Exchange wallet. But unless you specifically requested that it go to MetaMask or something, in which case you might have to custom add the token. So just double check that you did that. But if not, then just hit .net and just tell them that they forgot you. And I'm sure you'll get it in the next hour. And by the way, the scrap side of things is like really kicking. We've got a ton of things going on. That thing's going to, blow the doors off. We're really excited about it. And, the material flow is, it's it's going to be impressive. So, and it is already. Just the organic stuff that's coming through without any real advertising is pretty cool.
And you've said this for a long time on that. It hasn't even really been breathed on, which to me is a good segue to the next part of what I'd like to talk about, unless you've got anything else you want to dive into, Alfonso, which is, getting into, the various White Rabbit, opportunities. In the White Rabbit, if you follow the Alice in Wonderland analogy, the White Rabbit is originally who Alice follows down the rabbit hole, and once down there, of course, she goes to Wonderland. So the White Rabbit in our club is somebody who goes out and finds other people who are interested in the projects that, of course, we are partnered on or we're doing internally. And to me, whether that's the White Rabbit at Diamonds, who right now we've got kind of on the task of helping us do the, bring in sales for the Saitama giveaway, or it's, hearts and, kind of social media likes, that, that kind of thing. Clubs, of course, is going out and getting club members. And then, of course, the White Rabbit of Spades is, kind of on special projects and things that we have coming up that maybe don't fit in any of those original three buckets, but we may have other interests for it. So if you're interested, and this is only for people who are interested, right? Like when we first put out the white routed diamonds, people said, well, I don't really want to, I really don't want to do work, and that's fine. But the white rabbit and the rabbit colony is for people who are willing to roll up their sleeves and maybe go out there and get some stuff done, either that's sharing on social media or kind of evangelizing for the club and the things we have going on. Hit me up on the DM side in Discord, because there's a lot of stuff we're going to be doing there over the next couple weeks and months. And really, from my perspective, it's going to be a big part of the future of the club. It's the people who are in the colony there.
There's going to be weekly rewards for performance and some giveaways and things like that, right, Bill?
Yeah. Weekly and monthly giveaways, incentives, all kinds of things, and I think what we'll have is a lot of kind of open community sharing, more of an open dialogue on a day-to-day basis, which goes to our goal certainly, which is decentralizing a lot of even that, and kind of sharing the, hey, what's working, what's not working, what could be working. Again, for the life of me, maybe I'm just too long in the tooth for the social media thing. But if I get one more person that says, hey, I'm interested in working with you, send me what you'd like to pay me to do the work I might be willing to do. It's just a conversation I've never had before. So, hopefully there's somebody here that speaks social media and can help out, as we go forward. And I've got to give it up to Dakota and some of the other people that have been helping us. They're just doing a fantastic job, teeing those conversations up, and some of the other things we got going on. I'm just real happy with all that. But I think we're getting ready to put in a whole nother gear here and expand everything that we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. So I think also we're toying around with the idea of people driving new members, not just to the club, but also to Discord, to learn about what we have going on and so forth, and just put them in a position where they might want to come by on an AMA, just because we might have a giveaway, or we might incentivize people in different ways. So if anybody has ideas about what other people are doing in the space, and to kind of jumpstart that and incentivize people, let us know, because it's that's one of the things that's on the agenda too. Because when we were doing the Trillion Satama giveaway, a lot of people got back to us and said, there aren't that many people who are going to want to go out and drive sales, in order to win. And that's true. You got to be a real grinder. Like when Chad won the Lambo contest, it's because he was working his butt off, right? And talking all the time, and really putting in the work. And but not everybody wants to do that, and not everybody has the time to do that. And so at everybody's request, they basically said, like, let's do something that's a little less entailed, and I think we can do, like, maybe we do like a 250 billion Satama giveaway on a particular AMA night or something, to drive interest and let people hear about maybe like an intro type of an AMA, or something like that, to let new people get driven to to hear about what AWB is about, the distributions, what the game plan is moving forward, and how people can earn money.
But to my earlier point, I mean, to me, this is a white rabbit conversation about, it's kind of the rabbit colony conversation about, like, what's working, what isn't, what's a round table, just on that point in particular, as to how to drive, better traffic, more traffic, that sort of thing. Maybe, that everybody on these calls doesn't necessarily want to get that deep in the weeds. I'm looking to gather people who do. Specifically people, who really want to get kind of deep into that conversation, and are willing to roll up their sleeves and do something for it. And as a club, I think that's a rewardable thing, and we're prepared to talk about that. So, any idea when we'll be able to purchase scrap with AWRT? That's a good question.
So we're going to have a lot more connectivity with AWRT coming up. So we're just we're still in the phase of trying to get that tech to work on our end. We can talk about some direct swaps and things like that. Maybe we'll put something together from that perspective. And we were thinking about pairings on the exchange as well, and that's something we'll announce probably in the next couple days when we figure all that out. But I like that idea, and of course we're looking at AWRT being the utility or the native token to kind of power the NFT exchange too. So all that's in the works.
Yeah, I mean, direct swap, Chatty, you're absolutely right. Would be an awesome feature, considering that what you're backed by on the other side. KG asked, any ETA on activating buying crypto in AWC store? Buying with crypto in AWC store will really allow me to get started on affiliates, as 95% of crypto contacts are decentralized, not in fiat.
Gotcha. We'll get back to you. Well, I am going to put out a pretty detailed blog. We'll make sure we put one out tomorrow with a bunch of updates, because there's a ton of that type of stuff that we got to get back to you on. So we'll make sure that's on the agenda to get back to you.
Okay. For anybody who heard tomorrow, what is.
Well, I don't want to write a blog tonight. I've got other things to write. I have to write an angry letter to my daughter's school. So I have. I have things like that to take care of as well.
So this is an interesting question that I think is a pretty deep answer. So let's ask it. Any idea when VC investors will have the chance to start buying AWB?
Yeah. So the answer here is we are. Let me figure out how I'm going to tell you this. We're currently talking to a huge number of family offices and and groups that will be involved with formally, and that'll be an announcement type of a thing, because of the way that we want to kind of roll that out. So we're in the process of that. We have some other. It seems like family offices are the theme of the week. We have some others that we're going to start talking to, and then of course we've got our own Rolodex, which is slowly integrating into the process, where these guys are beginning trading, and they're just getting acclimated to the exchange and so forth. So a lot several venture cap groups are involved now, and when you start to see some of the new pairings show up with the new symbols, then you'll know that these things are starting to kind of really take off with a little bit more weight. So but for now, again, we're bridging. What's that?
I think that's worth digging into a little deeper, because what that does, right, is by bringing deeper pockets to the exchange, it's not just about one or the other. It's about, it's kind of like how I look at doing some of these film projects. It becomes the rising tide that raises all ships, right? I mean, all of a sudden you have big eyeballs looking at our deals and vice versa, but they also bring with them a lot of other folks that kind of travel along. And I think that there's a big opportunity for the club to then get exposure to a lot of other really great projects, which of course is the idea of the club, right? I mean, so it's sort of one begets the other as we go forward. So that really is important to look at that as kind of a whole, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And also we really want this this platform that we're putting together to be the launch point for for their needs, as well. Because essentially, and it sounds ridiculous, but like, the professional investors are just getting involved. Like, so, at least the ones we know are only just saying, well, maybe this does have legs. Some of the people who kind of last year at this time were saying, ridiculous, forget about it. I don't ever want to hear about a, piece of NFT art, are starting to look at the things selling at Christie's and stuff, and saying, or the things selling on Rally, or stuff like that, and saying, well, this must mean something else. It must not just be tulips. So this is an interesting time. So at this point, I think the kind of the temperature is, we have to be involved in this. Now, who do we trust, right? And that's where we've positioned the club and ourselves. With the exchange wallet, the NFT exchange and stuff. And like I said from the very beginning, when we first launched these things, the point here is to bridge that old world venture cap and the old world investment, with this new world where, people don't have to fear getting involved, getting a wallet and being walked through it, because they kind of do if they just jump on OpenSea, for example, or they just jump into a MetaMask. And they're, let's face it, like the first thing that they send out a MetaMask, they're thinking, well, is this thing going to really, is this ETH really going to arrive on the other side? Am I going to, or is it going to disappear in a black hole? The fear, right? When you first started in crypto. And, the whole point of the club is to alleviate that, so that we can have real, 8-figure players involved, on our platform, and many of them, so that's what we've been building toward, that this whole time. And I think that, I think it's getting cleaned up, so that it looks more and more professional. So you see, we're moving out of beta. You're going to see the new look for the whole club website coming up here, and probably, I don't know, how long are we off of that, Bo?
Not long. We just did some of the kind of I'll call it mid edits on the AWB white paper and some of the things there that we should be seeing, I would think, very shortly. And then as far as the the first iteration of the next step for the club website and all that, I think we're talking about, by a week's end, early next week. Dave might jump through the phone and poke me for saying that, but
another week or something. Yeah, something like that.
I would say a week is probably a good estimate.
I think what we're doing now is we're solving like the back office functionality, affiliate tracking, and how things are integrated into the old platform, and trying to bridge that. So I think once we do that, then I think it's, I think the design is, that at least in concept.
Oh yeah, no, that's all done. And again, done by the same group that did the AWRT token site. And I think, from an aesthetic perspective, if we can marry that aesthetic with the functionality that we have in place right now, then I think honestly the club is just off to the races. Then it's a matter of just getting out there and spreading the word, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So then, we probably have another, and again, this is where Discord's going to come into play, right? Because we'll have some rooms where people can make some suggestions, and we can work on different verbiage, and we can iron all this out, and then we can really lay it down.
Well, it's kind of the point too in some of the work that we're doing in Discord, kind of laying out some of these other rooms, because look, at the end of the day, there are people in this club that have been with us from the beginning that maybe want to move out, and there's other people that are starting to move in. So, one of the things that I am just, I don't know if bullish is the right word, but it's the first word that comes to mind, is that we've only got a couple hundred holders, so that when this thing really starts cranking, I mean, when we get some of this interim stuff out of the way, I mean, really, you're talking about 7 billion people on Earth, and a couple 100 current holders. I mean, that's a great recipe from a market perspective.
Well, that's for AWRT, and then we have more for, So so it's weird because again, when we have, I think we might be over 2,000 on the affiliate sign up side, which is crazy relative to the number of members and holders of the different tokens. So we have, and we should get these figures out too, so that the club knows what they are, so that we can hit targets, and really say, hey, let's push this. I mean, I think we're at 6 or 7. I think we have like 700 maybe plus members, something like that. But I'll confirm all that. And then we have, like, we should have 5. I think we should be at somewhere in the neighborhood of, I think we should be somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 AWRT holders when we're done with all this migration and opening up connectivity to some wallets and stuff, so that you can see it on Etherscan. So I don't know. We'll get back to everybody on all that stuff. Some of these wallets are some of the different places where I guess some of this is held. Like, I guess you don't see it on Etherscan.
So that brings up a good question, because I know that's come up in this process. Any idea on updates for TechRate, MRX, CoinGecko, and the like for AWRT?
So we just paid for an expedited, like some type of fee to expedite on Etherscan. I'm told this was today, so that's a 24-hour expedite for some type of update. I don't know what the heck that is, but that means 24 hours for whatever it is we're waiting for there. So I'm assuming that that's for them to publish all of the all the socials and all the other stuff on there. So once that's done, then TechRate, then Amerix.
For your sake, that better be Earth hours.
Well, I'm telling you, this is what this is what I'm told. So listen, if you pay this money, and I don't even think it's the first time. Like, to tell you the truth, so anyway, I'll knock on wood, but I'm expecting that sometime tomorrow we'll see those updates. So, and that should be exciting because
I said, I know KG really appreciates my humor, but that it's got to be Earth hours. Otherwise, it's in post edit, all that's coming out.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, no, I mean, but the reality of it is that this stuff it is moving ahead, and we have we took 2 steps back with the contract change, specifically so that we can really sprint now. So the good thing is that the functionality is top notch, and it's the most updated tech. So we have no problems growing into the future, and that was my main concern. We didn't want to have limitations. Reflections in and of themselves are difficult, and the fact that this works well and the liquidity pool works well, all of it is just ready to really just hit the gas. So
yeah, well, I know that had come up earlier in the day as far as reflections went, that certain people were trading back and forth. They hadn't seen them yet. And so there's a look back period, where there's going to be a look back on those reflections, correct?
Absolutely. And we're solving the issue. I think it's going to be done in the next hard reset of the server. So, but that's one of the things I'll put in the blog for tomorrow. I'll get the actual date so that everybody knows. And then once I actually see it, once it's done and we know that it's functioning, then we'll go back and we'll adjust everybody.
Another good question from KG. Okay, so I know that there was a lot of back and forth on the Dubai contest and things that were happening there, and contracts and between Dubai and, for some reason, Hong Kong got involved. But let's get an update on that and kind of what the next steps are.
Yeah, tomorrow. We'll give an update on that tomorrow, along with another conference. So we'll explain all of that and the contests and stuff tomorrow. Part of the problem is too, I think people need to understand, how to win these different things in order to make them work. So that's something that's definitely on our agenda, and that's part of the reason why we made all these changes to the Discord, so that we can readily have this kind of touch point where people can go on there and say, oh, okay, I see this link and this explains it all. Here's the FAQ for this and whatever. We're on it.
So tomorrow there's going to be a lengthy.
It is.
Post.
It is.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I was actually thinking of it being like an every Monday, just kind of like not even having it be a blog, but be like a news release on that news section in Discord. Um, and just being like, here's all the rundown for the whole, what happened last week, and what's happening this week, so people can kind of just have a touch point.
Yeah, just kind of a massive data dump for everybody who's paying attention to that.
Yeah,
to that
and I think,
sheet.
yeah, and then it helps them when they're talking to potential new affiliates and potential marketing and so forth. So,
well, I mean, hopefully that is the next step, right? I mean, from my perspective, you've got kind of that rabbit connection where people are bringing people back to the club, and then there's the, it's one thing to bring people back, but then the Q&A and the FAQ section and some of the other things that we've been back and forth on for a little while now, like getting all that work done so people can really go through, because there's a lot of stuff that's happening at this club, from real estate to supercars to the industrial real estate, of course, single family and residential real estate and other things, and merchant processing with GiveBucks, and the other stuff with U.S. Housing Exchange and whatnot. So there's a lot of things going on. So people may have an interest in one thing, but not necessarily all of it, or vice versa. So it'd be good to have that next level of person who could do some of the walkthroughs there too.
Yeah, well, and I know, I know that these the house giveaways that Mario is planning, and USHX's launch, that's like a monthly thing. So there's going to be a lot to do, and you'll be able to drive a lot of traffic and people back to potentially win a house.
Yeah, well, that's not potentially win a house. Somebody's going to win a house, right? I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, like, not all 1,000 people that you drive back are going to win, right? So
yeah, no, but I'm saying, like, I mean, that's an exciting contest. Like, as much as the Trillion Saitama is exciting, and if they drop a zero, then I mean, today it's a massive prize, but if they drop a zero, it's an even bigger prize. But I mean, that house is worth, I believe, I don't know if Mario's on or not, but I think somewhere in the $270,000 to $280,000 range. That first house, that's a pretty decent giveaway.
absolutely, and it's near the airport, and it's off the golf course, and it's it's
not
in the right
like
place.
just off the golf course. I've seen the pictures and the appraisals and all that. It's right on the golf course in Houston. It's beautiful piece of property.
That's really exciting. Yeah.
Any update on injection of liquidity on Uniswap to create a solid trading floor after tech rate such?
Yeah, it'll be there. Yeah, it'll be there. Right now, things are, but there's no reason not to there's no reason to buy high, so we're everything's fine where it sits. So, but post tech rate and during the huge, push, that we're going to have here, that's for sure going to be there.
Yeah. All right. So then, kind of going forward, what else do we have? Oh,
burning.
Since we've talked about it a couple times tonight, HQ Express and Velocity. I know that we're kind of knocking on the door when we were talking about doing the next distribution. So, any update there?
It's coming. It's coming. I want to make sure that the current I want to make sure that the ones that we're incubating now to move to the next levels are doing that. And as you can tell, we're starting to prep everything earlier, obviously, than what we did with AWRT, because now I think we've got this formula that I think will work really well. So I think you'll see USHX and GiveBucks start to do a lot of things on their own. Like Mario already has like his own Discord set up, and I think there's a lot of social media and that type of thing that's happening, on that front. So that in these different stages, you're going to see an accelerated path, start to develop, based on what we learned, kind of through beta. So you'll see all that, and I think as soon as we're confident that everything's ready to move forward, I'd say it's more that than it is the than is the HQ Express or Velocity. They're ready. It's a matter of what we're doing on the incubation side with what's already here. So
Shortly.
shortly.
Good point. And then when I was talking to Mario earlier today, he is going to be doing some artwork on the property that the first property. So we should have an idea as to the NFT and all the things that are involved in that project here real soon. I mean, next day or so soon. And then we'll have everything that we need to get that thing really kicked off. Part of them moving on is starting to use their own nomenclature and that kind of thing for these projects as they spin off. And and again, I mean, the goal here is that they want to be giving away a house every month, which is massive.
And I think what you mean by that is you'll start to see some of their own individual branding, kind of take off. And like I said, like those management teams between Mario and Todd and his group, have their own entire crew, of professionals and networks to be able to take this thing to the next level. And then same is true for Ken, and GiveBucks. So once we're done with our piece, from a capital perspective and from an incubation, perspective, these things will have their own legs, right? So
and kind of a departure from some of the Mad Hatter references and some of the other things too that from
right, which we will keep. Which we keep. They'll probably shed. So and what else? So also we're burning some tokens on Friday for AWRT.
Some tokens we're burning.
Yeah, 100 billion. Yeah,
100 billion tokens. We're burning 10% of the tokens.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I know, like, maybe it's early for that. People don't get like juiced for it, but I think it's just, from our perspective, it's just a step in the right direction, and it's the right time, from a structural standpoint. And then, it's and again, like when you take that out of circulation, of course, it secures value for everybody who's holding now. So that's that's an important piece. So
Chad, another one. I think you and KG are going off the ropes tonight. AWRT Twitter page. That's a good question. In the next day or so, not saying guaranteeing the next day, but in the next day or so, we should have that worked out along with the scrap and some of the other pages, because I think the message of the club is getting a little blurred on social media between the club and AWRT. So we've heard that, and we're working on all that right now, so that we can start to suss the two apart, so people can kind of look at one without the other. And then Lil Rick, can someone explain the scrap metal distribution to me? Or
what?
Yeah, no, that was a question.
So I guess I'm not sure. I'm not like that already was distributed. So everybody who had AWB wound up with scrap tokens. And then what we did was the scrap token actually, because from a branding perspective and just from a structural perspective, it just made more sense for us to have it take over the AWBTE launch and tie it directly to the precious metal, underlying precious metals from refining and recycling. So instead of having AWBTE, which was a more expensive token, or AWBT at $460, we've got a token that instead can be aggregated and cashed in for precious metal, making it basically making it independent of fiat and anti-inflationary by nature. So essentially you can aggregate that and cash it in for precious metal just like you could the other tokens. It's just now it's a lot cheaper. So we went with the same price points, and so it takes, of course, a whole lot more tokens, to get to that point if you want to have an actual ounce of gold sent to you, or if you want to recycle, 10,000 pounds of material. You do so by buying the tokens and waiting for that period of time and cashing them in for gold, or silver or palladium, or the basket, the 1 ounce basket part of it.
I'm not positive about this, but I'm fairly certain Little Rick has asked questions about this since the Christmas special. So I think functionally, maybe if I'm reading between the lines, that may be a functional question, as like if you bought one WAB, if you bought one Christmas special, how many scrap tokens does that come out to?
It's dollar for dollar. So if you, for whatever you paid, you get the scrap token. I think it came out. Did that come at quad one? I think something like that.
I think it was quad. Yeah, I'll double check.
Yeah. So whatever the launch price point was, that's the conversion. So it's dollar for dollar.
His question is, well, secondarily, yeah, I had a feeling it was a little bit more detailed. So he's received 20 million scrap, but has 160,000 AWB. So I don't have a calculator.
Well, that would have happened a long time ago. That was the normal distribution of 2,000 for one. So you would have, so when we did the scrap distribution, it was a 2,000 for one distribution.
Yeah, so that's the original distribution. What we're talking about now is the AWBTE, which is a different.
Correct. So that was the Ethereum-based version of AWBT, which was a Binance-based token convertible into this basically the precious metals. So it was serving the same function. They were serving the same function that now scrap has kind of taken over.
Okay.
And so instead of distributing new AWBTE and confusing everybody, we went with the token that made the most branding sense. Because now these price points, when we come out with the full refining company site, which we're just waiting for the back end of now, then it can be really promoted. So this is a token that for every dollar that you spend on scrap tokens, you're recycling. And for every one of those dollars, you can cash that in for the London spot price metal, or price equivalent in metal. So, essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to sever your, if you want to call it an investment, your investment dollars from fiat currency. So that's kind of the point.
Just put a pin in that sentence for a second, because I don't want people to get confused. Because the scrap that was distributed in the original and what people bought in AWBTE, we're talking about, because Smooth says, wait a minute, quad one, when I was told it was OT4 when it first came out. So, and then of course, Butt Juggles just throwing memes at me. But so just clarify that point, because.
Yeah, sorry. That's old. That's what we count our zeros differently. So we're not talking about aughts. We're talking about quad. It's just 4 zeros and a 1. So same thing. We're saying the same thing.
Well, he's saying quad. So I was told it was 0.04. So that would actually be 4 cents. I think is what he's saying, not 4 zeros and a 1.
Oh yeah, no. Then that's that. I'm pretty sure that the price point. I gotta check what the price point is. I mean, where is it? Do we see it on the exchange?
I don't have that up in front of me, but it sounds to me like this is something that we just need to take sidebar. Smooth.
Take in the put in the blog tomorrow. With this blog is getting longer and
We're going to
longer.
add that to the blog, but I mean, certainly you already have to send an email to concierge because you hadn't received what you'd gotten. Okay, so Chad, thank you. It's 4 zeros and a 1 on the exchange.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where it's coming out at then.
Right. But again,
And
if you bought BTE, kind of that exchange is maybe where things are getting confused. It may not be. Smooth, if you could send that to concierge along with your other question, I think we can get that figured out quicker once we know what the actual math that we're talking about is.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. It's dollar for dollar. So yeah. So don't worry about it. And if you got it in a mistake or anything like that, it'll be corrected. So.
All right. So one order of Christmas special, you should have received 20 million scrap.
So we'll deal with that on the blog. Have somebody write that down or get the info from Craig at the end of the at the end of the thing, so we remember.
Yeah. Craig's going to be important tonight. Okay, Blackthorn. We were told at the time the distribution that scrap was a native token, so it was a 2% distribution, not 20% of AWB holdings.
20% of AW, right? Well, 20%, right? So,
it was a 2%, not a 20%. So,
yeah.
So it was 2,000 for 1, 4 zeros and a 1, not 2,000 for 1, 3 zeros and a 1.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that's right. And it's native in the fact that of course, we run the gold and precious metal component along with the refining component. So, and that's actually done in the warehouse here. So the same location where HQ Express is. So that it's native in function, right? So when something isn't native, that doesn't mean that the scrap token won't sell or be traded on another exchange potentially in the future. It very well might. I think that this is something that has legs to it in a big way, and so sky's the limit. We're not going to hold anything back when it comes to promoting it. So wherever it goes, we're gonna wherever the wind takes it, we'll see. But I'm really excited about it because we've been it's an important delivery. It's an important is an important tool in the market for not just our club, but for lots of different people to be able to to one, have every dollar go to recycling, and two, have those dollars be able to be convertible into metal. At London Spot, dollar for dollar, is pretty unique. It's totally different from every other, like anything that's like a stable coin. Pales in comparison to what this is going to do for us and for the club. Because the way that we have this structured,
back to kind of original fiat currency, right? Backed by an actual commodity.
Yeah, but it's not, and we're not. It's not a stable coin, so it's convertible into that metal at that London Spot price point as of that day that you decide to pull the trigger. However, we're not saying that it's entirely backed by gold, for example, because you may want to convert into the refined and recycled palladium. So the flexibility of this is so much greater than anything else that's out there. So it is really exciting, and some of the people that we're talking to from an M&A perspective and from a from a relationship perspective is really exciting too. So, it's just, I think this is going to have I think it's going to have a lot of juice.
Yeah, well, no doubt. I mean, again, as things happen, as they seem to be, inflation or fluctuations in the market, all those things that are happening, kind of on a real time basis. Of course, precious metals are a safe haven, or have historically been a safe haven for where investment runs in those times. So, on top of everything else, good place to have things parked.
Well, and I think it's an important part of what's happening in our future, right? Like I've said this before, you have to be owning precious metal right now in this inflationary environment, which is not just it's this is historic inflation with coupled with just a pummeling of the traditional economy. So,
Well, and a fair
yeah,
amount of price gouging to boot. Some people who
oh yeah,
might
it's a
be affected are
stifling of. I mean, this is
price gouging.
outrageous. Yeah, yeah, we're in a bad environment. So this is an important piece of what we need. It's what we're doing anyway, which is why we're offering it to you, and and to the club. And I think it's going to be something that we're able to scale on an international basis. So it's pretty exciting.
All right, Smooth. You sent over kind of a screenshot. Let's send that all over to when you send the email this evening. Send it over to the .net, and we'll just get through that. It's a lot of small type for this evening, but we'll get an answer for you. I assure you of that. Okay. Supercars. That's kind of a you dropped one on everybody, the Lambo. I know when I was there, I forget if it was late last. Yeah, I guess it was late last week. We've got a couple other things happening there that I think are fun and exciting from a velocity perspective. We talked about HQ, so let's just switch gears, pun intended, for all my stand-up fans out there.
God,
you, by the way,
it's so bad.
Switch gears. Shut up and talk about velocity.
So the spring, coming up very shortly is the 100K sale in Mannheim. Like we happen to be located outside of Lancaster, PA, which has one of the largest auto auctions in the world. And the exotics come out this spring. And so, that's why, this launch is timed when it is. And it's going to be really exciting. We've got the Lambo. Of course, we have a Ferrari Portofino, which is being cleaned up right now. Both of them are 2020s, and both are under 3,000 miles. So fun to come drive, and if you're a club member, and as we start to offer these perks and so forth out there, and when you get to see what Velocity is all about, then you may want this for a wedding or going to on a trip or whatever. There's just there's going to be a lot of neat opportunities, but there's also other cars to come, and it's going to be really exciting. So that's one of the more fun things. This is more the crypto lifestyle. Like we always say, the club is venture cap meets crypto lifestyle, and this is this is the lifestyle side of things. So there's a lot more to come on the Velocity brand as well, other than just cars.
So when Lambo then becomes when Ferrari, and kind of when a bunch of other really kind of cool, fun projects, cars and other things there. And I know that we're also in discussions with people from a metaverse perspective about introducing some of that stuff both in this world and in, I don't want to call it the next, but
yeah, don't call it that. Call it the expanded world or whatever. Yeah, I mean, yes, yeah, it's they're building. I think we do have one designer that's looking at building. Oh, we also have there's other projects inside of Velocity, and one of them is the Land Rover side of things. So we've got some really cool, kind of call it like festival and camping rentals that'll be available, based on Land Rovers and some Defenders and some cool things that are there. And anyway, so we've got a designer, I think, at this point looking at doing a virtual, NFT version of our Defender. So pretty cool stuff. So, and all that stuff we want to be able to, if you buy that, you'll be able to drop it into the game, or you'll be able to drop it into the metaverse and have it there in your in your garage or whatever it is that is built out there.
Yeah. All right. So
that about it.
That about sums it up. But again, Smooth, I don't want to. I don't want you to feel like I'm dodging that question at all. It's just, if you could just send all of that information in, just to make sure everybody's math is on the same page. We'll get that squared away for you. So, but aside from that, it looks like that's the end of the questions anyhow, and we've hit the hour mark, and it's Valentine's Day, and I'm sure we've put a lot of people to sleep, and there's probably some spouses out there that want to get some other spouses back. So,
yeah, well, get excited about scrap. Get excited about USHX giving away a house. Get excited about AWRT going out on its own, and really being pumped because as we start to build this out and we shake out all the call it lightweight, and then we'll be ready to hit the gas. And it just so happens that the timing will come perfectly for Mirex and TechRate and so forth. So it looks like everything's on track in my book. So I think everybody should be juiced.
All right, everybody, have a good evening.
All right, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.